allegiance by Councilman Shave, and then an opening prayer by Councilman Williams.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can start now? Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening to ask a blessing on this group of people that are assembled to do thy will. We're especially grateful for the many blessings that thou hast bestowed upon us, especially this beautiful valley, these wonderful people that live here, this great country, and the moisture we've had this year. We're here for a reason. And what we ask is this: watch over us and please help us to do what is right. We say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Chuck. Does anyone else have an opening or a statement of belief they would like to share with us? All right, we're going to move on. The approval of the agenda and disclosure declaration of conflict for anyone.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda order.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any conflicts of interest? Anyone?
No.
All right, let's move on. Consent agenda. First, we have review and possible approval of meeting minutes from August 2nd, 2023, our regular city council meeting. Did anybody have a chance to look at that? The new minutes are nice, easier to get through.
Yes, they are. And easy to go back and check.
Absolutely, they're great.
Too. Yep.
Any concern on the meeting minutes? And we can do the expenditure. We do it all at once. May expenditures through 2023. Any questions on those? All right, I need a motion.
I move that we go ahead and approve items C1 and C2, City Council meeting minutes for August the 2nd, and also the expenditures from the city for May of 2023.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are to our presentation. We have Intermountain Health, our annual update. Which one of you like to?
Get stuck with me.
Mrs. Gilbert, it's good to have you. Good to see you back.
It's good to be back. I am so excited after 25 years of working with Intermountain Health. The dawn of a new ED is coming, and if I do nothing else to be able to see that come over the finish line is pretty exciting to me, because it's a long way to go to St. George. I hope you never have to use it, but the facility is just the beginning of what we can add, and it just makes our environment, all of our area through here, especially Zion, going from 1 million to 5 million people, that much safer. So I'm tickled to do that. You'll see that in a little bit as we go ahead. I'm very excited to be here. I have with us Natalie Ashby, the Chief Nursing Officer for the Desert Region and an incredible leader. Becky Bronson, the Communication Manager for the Desert Region Hospitals, and also Braden Bird, the RN Assistant Manager for the Hurricane ED. So you'll get to meet each of those in just a little while. But to begin with, the reason I volunteer with Intermountain Health is because of the fact that I want to prevent people from having problems. And if we have problems, I want them to have a place to go with people that they can count on. And like I said, I hope you never have to use the ED, but I'm very grateful that it is almost here and it will increase from there. So there will be an opening in the 1st of October, that area, and we'd love to have all of you come. So if you can start the video, we'll play some of the new programs and services.
Life's only constant is change, and change is necessary for growth and to move forward. in strong and healthy ways. Hi, I'm Mitch Cloward, Intermountain CEO of St. George Regional Hospital. As we evolve to best serve the needs of our community, we are laser focused on decreasing the cost of care, improving access to care, and helping people live the healthiest lives possible. So let's take a look at some of our latest changes.
Hi, I'm Jared Stevens, the Emergency Department Director for St. George Regional Hospital. We are so excited to open a 24/7 emergency department on our Hurricane campus. We'll be able to provide care for most injuries and illnesses right in Hurricane, and if needed, we will stabilize and transfer the most critical cases to our Level 2 Trauma Center in St. George. The new freestanding emergency department shares the campus with our imaging center, rehabilitation services, and family medicine. We're also excited to announce construction will begin soon on a 24/7 emergency and primary care facility near Exit 2 on I-15. Intermountain Desert Color Parkway Emergency Services will support the growing Sun River and Desert Color communities. Quick access, the highest quality care, and hospital ER services are expanding in Southern Utah.
Hi, I'm Dr. Warren Butterfield, Director of Intermountain's first orthopedic urgent care located in the Health and Performance Center in St. George. This center makes it possible to have direct access to specialized orthopedic care. We treat torn ligaments, sprained broken bones, and other common orthopedic injuries not severe enough to require hospitalization. We also have an on-site x-ray, musculoskeletal ultrasound, and the ability to splint, cast, and repair simple lacerations, broken bones, and dislocations.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne Ames, the charge nurse here at the Intermountain Surgery Center in St. George. We offer same-day urology and orthopedic surgeries with high-quality outcomes at lower cost. We gain efficiencies by focusing on only these specific types of surgeries. Our new center features 4 specialized operating rooms, along with diagnostic and preventative procedures, making it easier and more affordable to access needed surgical services while maintaining high standards and outcomes.
Hi, I'm Joelle Jacobson, Administrative Director of St. George Regional Hospital. We are proud to partner with Primary Children's Hospital in bringing increased pediatric mental health support to our area. Everyone who supported our Jubilee of Trees helped raise the funds for the new partial hospitalization program we are developing. This involves more intense therapies for kids who need them without an inpatient hospital stay, including a variety of mental and behavioral health resources for children, as well as clinic and telehealth care.
Intermountain St. George Regional Hospital is a national award-winning hospital. We strive every day to make sure you're getting the best care. Yet all of these awards only serve to underscore what our entire community already knows and loves. And that is, our hospital's success lies in the hands of our exceptional, dedicated caregivers. Each provide the highest quality standard of care with true caring, dedication, and compassion. So amidst the importance of change, the one thing that hasn't changed and will never change is our focus on you, your families, your loved ones, and our community to help you live the healthiest lives possible.
We are very grateful to be in an area where we have a gem of a hospital facility that did I screw that up? If you can go to the next slide. Where we are a CMS 5-star rated hospital, as well as listed as the second best hospital in Utah. We are a gem that I'm very proud of. We've worked very hard to get to that place where you can get most of the services that you need here within a short period, a short area, rather than having to go to either Las Vegas or Salt Lake. And for that, I'm very grateful. I've had lots of experience in the past where the opportunities that we needed were not available. And like I say, I hope you never have to use them, but to have those kind of awards, just the world's best hospitals, the aortic valve surgery, abdominal aortic aneurysm repair, back surgery, spinal fusion, colon cancer surgery, COPD, heart bypass surgery, heart attack, heart failure, hip fracture, and the list goes on and on. We just keep striving for more and more excellence, and we appreciate being able to share that with you. To continue with our slides and about the hospital, I turn the time over to Natalie Ashby.
Thank you. What a pleasure it is to be with you all today. Go to the next slide. Thank you. And the next one, I think we went over that. We are very proud of all of our services. So we wanted to share with you the latest current footprint for Intermountain Healthcare. As you can see, we just merged with SCL Health in Colorado. So our footprint has expanded. That red little area right there is what we call the desert region. And so that is currently where St. George and our facilities are located. Cedar City, Garfield, our acute hospitals within that region. Okay, next slide. So this is just a brief slide about our Intermountain by numbers. I won't go over all of them, but I think it's important to note that we have 33 hospitals within Intermountain, including one virtual hospital, which is really forward thinking. We have 4,800 licensed bed, over 60,000 caregivers, and 3,900 employed physicians in APP. So just a great services that we're able to offer our communities. So as you all know, we are a not-for-profit healthcare institution, and we help meet the diverse healthcare needs of our communities by providing excellent care at the lowest appropriate cost, regardless of the patient's ability to pay. And so there's some handouts here that give you some statistics about our hospital, and you can review those. And what I would like to talk about is our board of our board of community leaders, sorry. So we do not have a board of shareholders. And I think the next slide, yes, okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Cindy Gilbert. I think you all know her. She's an amazing woman, and she would never say all this about herself, but we are so thankful to have her as our board chair. She served as an Intermountain trustee in one capacity or another since 1995. Including service on the parent Intermountain board as our hospital board chair, on our foundation boards, both system and local, and on the new Desert Region board. She's born and raised in Cedar City. She received degrees in business and music from SUU and her law degree from BYU. She serves as corporate counsel for Utah Iron LLC and Gilbert Development Corporation and Crusher Rental and Sales. She owns Diamond G Ranch, Diamond G Rodeos. And there's a ranch just down the street. I passed by it on my way here. It's very beautiful with her husband, Steve, and breeds and clones rodeo bucking bulls. She was the first woman flank person in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, flanking more than 20,000 animals in her career, and still owns the arena record for high marked bull ride at the National Finals Rodeo. She has served on SUU and Snow College Board of Trustees, Utah State Board of Regents, and Utah State Building Board. She is a great leader who, with our board, ensures we are taking good care of our community, and we are so grateful for you. So thank you, Cindy. I really enjoy working with her. So on our next slide, as a nonprofit, we are required to demonstrate that our total gift to the community is more than our property tax liability. We clearly do that, as you can see in this slide. Looking at only our value-adjusted charity care amount for 2022, you can see the amount of charity care we provided directly to patients was $26 million. That's about 7 times the amount we would have paid in property taxes if we were a for-profit hospital. So we're required to share that with all of you. In addition, so next slide, we also invest in our communities in various ways. So this is other ways that we donate to our community. We've donated $515,000 to community service and education, $1.7 million to clinics serving underserved population, and $2.8 to health professional education. So next slide. So every 3 years, we do a community assessment. And last year's community assessment, we found these things as our top priorities for our communities. One was to improve mental well-being, to improve chronic and avoidable health outcomes, and address and invest in social determinants of health. So next slide. This one just talks about all of the various cash donations that we make to services that are in our communities as well. So almost $5 million there. So I want to talk a little bit. I want to introduce Braden. If you want to just come up with me, Braden.
So he is our assistant manager, is going to be overseeing our hurricane facility. We're so excited to have this coming open for our communities, and it'll be really close to you all. So September 25th, we're going to have an EMS breakfast. And then October 3rd, we're going to have our tours and light lunch. And then October 3rd, we also have a free family night with a celebration, and all of you are invited. We'd love to see you all there. And then October 4th, we're open for business. And I just have Braden here, so if there's any questions about the Hurricane ED, we will take those now. Any questions?
Where is the closest pediatric critical care?
So the closest pediatric ICU would be in Las Vegas. Depending on the condition of the child, we go either Vegas or we go to Primary Children's in Salt Lake.
But they can come to either the new Hurricane or St. George for initial care, and then they'll go to a PCCC.
Yeah, it's one of the really cool things about this being a satellite emergency department rather than like what you typically see for like rural emergency departments. All our physicians, all our nurses are all trained and seasoned in the Trauma 2 Center in St. George, and they also work out here. They will continue to work both facilities. So anything you could take to St. George, you can bring to us there, and we can stabilize it here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions?
We're just excited to have it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
we are
great.
too. It's been a long time coming, and we're super excited. And Braden's a fabulous ER nurse. He's worked there for many years, and he's going to be a great resource to have out there with that hospital, that satellite location. So I don't know what our next slide is. Maybe it is the question slide. Yes, we welcome questions and feedback. Any other questions about anything else or
Chuck's
feedback
got
on
one over
anything?
here.
Yeah, Chuck.
Just a little bit of feedback.
Uh-huh.
I've been privileged to live all over the world, and I'm now living in my 31st home.
Oh, nice.
Which is going to be my last one, as far as I'm concerned.
That's what they always say. I'm not
Well,
sure
yeah,
about that,
that's
Chuck.
what I said before this one, anyway. And been in a variety of places where hospital care is somewhat different, and some places where they even shoot at you in the emergency room. But I can't say enough about Intermountain Healthcare.
Thank you.
Treatment that we've received there, our families receive there, and Gary can attest to, we've lived in a lot of different places where the emergency room care is somewhat hostile. And we're glad to be here, and we appreciate all that you all are doing for us.
Well, thank you. We will definitely take that back. I agree with you, Chuck. I love our teams there. I get to go down and meet with them frequently. They're very innovative, but they're also so very kind and care about our patients so deeply. So thank you for sharing that feedback.
So do you receive any outside funding to help support your growth and
Yeah, so we do have a foundation, and that foundation helps raise funds to help us with additional things. So we do get some. So since we don't have shareholders, the money goes back into building up our community. But there's some things that we have to ask for additional funding to help us get to help support our hospital. So for instance, that partial hospitalization for adolescents for behavioral health, that came from our Jubilee of Trees last year, and we were able to raise funds to be able to implement that for next year. And that's something that in our capital funding, with how huge we are now, it's very limited how much capital we get. It would have taken us another 5 to 10 years to be able to get the funding for that. But with the generous donations of our community, we're able to get that up next year. We're so excited for that opportunity for our youth. Yeah,
Great.
good question.
I'm not as old as Chuck is.
Oh, okay.
But I have used
You both look young to me, so.
I have used your services for myself and my family, and they are superior to anything else that I've experienced in past.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. And
We love our caregivers. We have the best. We are so thankful to hear those wonderful comments, and we'll share it with them. Anything else?
I think we're good. We appreciate you coming. Love the
Okay.
presentation. We'll look forward to this every year. So thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much. It's a
Keep us
pleasure.
healthy.
Yeah.
Keep us, protected. And if we
Yeah.
break fingers again, we can just come anyway.
We will.
We've all been down there.
But thanks for your service as well to your community. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have city department reports. Stanley's not here tonight.
Really?
Stanley submitted a
Okay.
video today from today. Parkway for drone footage that we'd like to show.
Perfect. I'm
Talked to
excited
Bob
to see
earlier.
that.
That's even better. That's
Yeah.
what I told them to
We'll
do.
show that, Dave. We were gonna put it to music.
Just saying,
I
it
was
needs
just,
to be to music.
I was gonna suggest something, but. Jaws.
And Ty, you can kind of narrate if you want as this is going.
That time, let's have some narration.
That's the sewer line going in.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So they're gonna run it up here. It's gonna stop somewhere around here.
My kids are asking about whatever.
I don't, it looks like they were prepping a hole, so I think they're gonna shoot tomorrow. I hadn't got confirmation, but. looked like that.
shooting through that tight spot?
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah,
right
they've been
here.
blasting. That's why I've had 5.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you go over to Litchfield side and look back, substantial difference. in
Oh,
what's
yeah.
happened.
The other, west side was
Yeah,
a
this will
lot
go
more.
over and then turn. It'll,
Yeah, look at all those holes they've got drilled. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, they have taken down a lot.
That big blue thing sitting in the middle, that's drilling the pylons.
For the bridge.
Yep,
Wow. Good narration so far.
I'm nailing it.
You're
That's
hitting it
Litchfield's
hard.
home.
So that's more dirt.
Yeah, there's still probably 20 foot of fill from where that sits right there to get up to where that, like the white truck and the
Mhm.
black truck are sitting to get that up to grade.
exit road?
Yeah, so that's the
That's the
Shangri-La's
Shangri-La. Yep.
access in.
There's the hole.
They must have, did they fly this today?
yeah, they did.
Because it looked really close to what I saw.
It's today.
I drove up.
And they have asked that we, as a city, not publish when the blasting is happening because residents are showing up and it's blocking traffic. It's causing major safety issues. So they have asked that we do not post blasting schedules or that we ask the public to stay away from the blasting as well.
Is that the only video there, Daisy?
Yeah, then we have. Then photos, you can show photos happening.
So this is all in
That's-
phase B.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So this
the
is
material
big.
they're pulling out is so good they can crush it. I mean, it's good material. All that lava
They're
rock
making
makes.
A1A out of it.
Yeah, they're making really good road base out of it.
Yeah, it's major, obviously major construction zones, so they have asked people to stay away from it.
So that's the top. Yeah, they're just moving a lot of dirt.
I found the hole.
Having to haul the dirt from the joint side around or where they?
No.
They're crushing it and just.
Yeah, they're crushing, so they made backfill material for the pipe on this side. Their intention is to crush everything they can on that side and then move the crusher back to this side and finish crushing up all that you see there now.
That looks.
All
All right.
That's like it.
Any questions for Ty?
Yeah, I got one question.
Just
I
one.
talked to Ty before. Yeah, I'll keep it to one for you, Mr. Mayor. I talked to Ty before, and one of the concerns I had was the speed limit through the construction zone. And now especially even more because the way they have the lane changes, the left turn and right turn into TRE is in the through traffic lane now. So if I'm making a right or a left, it backs up the traffic behind me in either
So you don't have a
direction.
turn pocket right now.
Correct, either direction. So it might behoove them to lower the speed limit. I know coming,
Who,
South
can
Ba-
we do that without the state?
No.
or-
All
We
of
have
it.
a coordination meeting with them tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can only cut the speed down so far. before
sure,
it
I understand
requires
that.
you-
I'm not a traffic engineer, so I don't know what that would be, but
I'll bring that up.
something, because I mean, northbound it's 50 still. Southbound along the S curves, it says 40 as a recommendation.
As a caution, right?
Yeah, so anyway.
But the other thing too is when you're in that lane, it says left turn only. And so
Yeah,
it
correct.
confuses people.
That's a good point
You know,
too. Yeah,
They,
that,
they don't know if that's the only way they can
yeah,
go.
that's an excellent point too, Chuck. And I've had a couple people that are behind us tried to cut inside the barriers and go around me. So anyway,
I'll bring both
Well,
those
people
up.
are, I mean, I hate to say it, but there's dumb drivers.
no
They just,
way.
you know. Lynn, you had a question real quick?
The underpass under the new bypass road,
The overpass?
there is quite a group of people who think that is for passing, whether it be horse horse, walk, ATV, whatever. Anita thinks that she owns property.
Oh, over here on this piece.
So Lynn,
Yeah.
there's two things there. So there's a box culvert that's a single box to the north. That's 100% on Lowe's. The one that's in Flume Wash, which is a 3-box structure, so it has two drainages, and on the south side, there's actually a pedestrian underpass there. That is where our intention is to have that traffic move, but they need to be aware that what they're doing is they're moving from private property on one side to private property on the other side.
If the private property says you cannot pass here, do we have an underpass?
Well, no, because you're trespassing.
Okay.
Right, so, and it's been going on for years.
I had to go talk to Anita on the phone
Yeah.
the other day. Basically, I wasn't even involved in it, so I was
Yeah.
glad to do that. And she said she's not going to allow passage.
Yeah, and they have.
On her property.
Yeah, typically they have not. At Flume Wash, you're down into Westbrook's piece, and he has allowed that to be open for years. He
Years,
just
yeah.
hasn't cared about it. But as that changes hands, that can change Timperman as well.
If it does get closed off, that is going to maybe have create a problem with people crossing over the top.
Well, the problem is, it's not a problem, it's private property and both sides are gonna get developed. So all that's gonna go away from four-wheelers and side-by-side rides, period. It's all on private property. I mean, there's no BLM on either side of the road. So you're on private property going to the road, you're on private property.
I understand. the
Yeah.
theory, but I'm going to tell you about the work in practice.
Right.
People cross nowhere that new road.
So Lynn, that's why there is that's why
At
there's
Flume
a
Wash.
structure there. We didn't have to have 3. We added one.
Yep.
With the intention that that would become part of our trail system in the future.
Yep.
So that it would promote that instead of people going up over the top. Because it is definitely going to be an issue.
So it's one of these future things. It's not.
No, the Flume Wash it's
It'll
there
be-
now. There's no,
And it's passable.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, it's in.
Yeah,
We can
it's-
drive down there and you can go through it now.
yeah.
So let me correct that. It is rip wrapped, so there's
Right.
big rocks on the east and the west side of it. They're going to put some smaller rocks in there so somebody can walk across it without breaking their ankle or.
But the section's got the 3 underpasses.
That's the
but
correct
all the
one.
2 short ones, that is not
No,
in the
that's-
program right now.
The one on the south side, that is the one you will be using to cross under the road. The one I heard with the 3. The one by itself up there is on the low property, and you're trespassing to get to it, you're trespassing under it, you're trespassing on the other side.
So maybe the confusion came, I need to call me to get somebody's phone number, call and yell at them. Maybe the confusion come on which underpass they were talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it started from the sheriff's department putting out an article that showed access points and they identified the access point on Lowe's property instead of showing the triple box
Oh,
culvert
maybe
that was
that's
further
okay.
south.
All right, then.
And actually, the one on Lowe's is sealed up, like you'd have to cut a fence to get to it now. It's all
Oh,
fenced
okay.
off and broke to where you couldn't, or blocked, you couldn't get to it without going through the fence.
Thank you for that information.
No problem.
We have people that cut the fence.
Yeah, we don't want to just talk about cutting fences. We're good. All right, so we're done with our city department reports. We're moving on. Okay, we're on to our business items. F1, discuss and possible action on waiving the town hall reservation fee for Leaf Bjornsson readiness meetings. I know it's not all Leaf, but it's,
Read 'em?
sure.
So for this one, we just asked that we waive the fee for the reservation for town hall. Readiness meetings are open to the public. They'll cover topics such as 10 essential basics for readiness, creating a family emergency plan, sanitation guides, and power outage sessions. These will be held on September 14th, October 12th, November 9th, December 14th, January 11th, February 8th. The reservation fees right now are City Hall reserves those fees. They're deposit 75, the half day is 50. They're asking for all fees to be waived. We are wondering if the possibility for a deposit, $75 deposit to be put in place, and then just carry forward throughout those, but waive the half day fee of the $50.
So just to do a $75
$1
fee,
one time.
deposit, and then that'll cover
And
it
it'll
for
just
their
roll through
route.
every time unless they have to use the deposit.
Right. Okay.
But that would be what that would be for your discussion.
I'm in favor of that, Mayor. You ready for a motion?
I am.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple of discussion points. I'm absolutely in favor of it. My only
Okay.
question is, what guidelines do we have in place if other groups
It's
come
case
in.
by case,
Yeah.
case by
So
case.
do we have any guidelines or standards that we're going to
We
adhere
have-
to?
we don't
I mean,
charge- We have that we don't charge, yeah, we do. We have, we don't charge like quasi government, we don't charge the water district or things or anything.
well, no,
Church,
yeah.
Religious, yeah, it's on our fee schedule, we have that on there. And in addition to that, we bring before council on a case by case basis.
Okay, so.
This is where we're trying to get emergency preparedness and get.
Well, no, I understand, and I absolutely agree that we need to do this in this case. I'm concerned if we open up.
We can always say no. We can say no.
A Pandora's box,
Yeah.
unforeseen circumstances, but they're gonna come in and say, well, you approved this and this, and I'm coming in with something for the community.
If it's, yeah. it's-
What would this fall under with respect to these
This is
guidelines
for-
that we
Yeah.
have? What would this be categorized as?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Public
health,
safety.
Public safety,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's-
Even, Todd, even if we had standards, I don't know that would avoid, we'd still get claims by the ACLU that we were discriminating
Yeah.
okay,
against one, even trying to enforce, apply
If you
our
wanna
own
pull up
standards,
the
so.
fee schedule real quick, just so that they can see that,
And
the
then-
wording that's on there.
yeah, and then the only other question Afton I had was the deposit 75 and then the fees 50 or 100, half day, full day. The deposit is for,
The deposit in case something gets ruined. If something
okay,
gets-
so.
Or it's left dirty, then we have to have it cleaned.
Okay, so then a normal group would pay either 50 or $100. The 75 deposit would be returned if everything is okay.
Exactly. So you can see right there where it talks about, it says churches and Boy Scouts, Neighborhood Watch, government, quasi-government organizations, other organizations specifically sponsored by the city of Tokerville, which we need to change that to Tokerville City. For example, the rental fees, the deposit fees may apply.
Okay.
So
I think this is
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay.
When they presented, they did tie it to Neighborhood Watch as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing on here, and one of the reasons, obviously, before you, it says the exemption will apply for 3 days per year. They're obviously asking for more days than that, so that's.
Okay.
Item 6 is discussing this specifically.
So we've got.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we've had discussion. Any more discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item F2, discussing possible action on ordinance 2023, modifying Tocqueville City Code, Chapter 1-7-6, mayor and city council compensation.
So in our fiscal year 23-24 budget, we updated city council compensation and we allow for planning commission now to have compensation. And so we need to update obviously the ordinance and then that's going to be set by resolution. This is not an ordinance form yet, but we do have to have this ordinance, put in ordinance form and then approve so we can issue payment according to the approved and adopted budget. So.
So what action do you need tonight if the ordinance
We-
isn't
to-
developed yet?
Yeah, well, this is what's gonna be in the ordinance, so it'd be on the condition that the attorney drafts this.
I prepared an ordinance, but I put both mayor and council and planning commission compensation in the same ordinance, and we decided that we wanted to separate them out into two different ordinances. Because they're actually found in two different places in our code right now. And what we're doing is, just so that you understand, we're striking out the portions in our code that have the specific dollar amounts, and we're changing those to being adjusted by resolution, a little more flexible than ordinance. It has been our preference not to embed dollar amounts, just like our uniform fee schedule. That's where all the dollar amounts are plugged into. We adjust that by resolution. We'd like to have our elected and appointed officials' compensation set and adjusted by resolution. So we're taking it out of our ordinances.
It just
And
makes it,
You'll see that the changes in this one are that it said that city council used to be paid by check. We actually do it by direct deposit. So we had to update this to show what we're actually doing, that we actually do pay by direct deposit, things like that. And of course, the policy and procedure manual. It was set by ordinance, had the dollar amounts in it. Now the ordinance will say city council, this is what it will say, city council will be paid. And then
It'll be
the
set by resolution.
lists the amount.
Yeah.
Just like
it just makes it easier to change if we have a really bad
And if
year. We need to reduce
city
it.
council
We don't have to
compensation, exactly.
just do it by resolution, not by ordinance change.
I also thought too, if we're looking at situations where maybe we need to eliminate compensation, planning commission, keep council or something like that, not to have it all tied together. like that. So there's flexibility in having it two separate. And you'll see what's coming up is a resolution. It'll have those in the resolution.
Yeah, the resolution's fine.
What does it take to change the resolution?
Another resolution?
Yeah, just by whom? By city council. By city council.
Yeah, resolution is vote of the council.
Yeah, planning commission can't,
Yeah, they can't give themselves a raise.
nor can they assign themselves any compensation.
So Mayor, just
Yes.
for so everybody know, what is the compensation that's proposed?
So that's in the resolution after.
Is
That's-
it, I looked through it, I just didn't see it.
It's item F4, and then it was already approved as part of the 20, we're going to talk about it on item F4, but it's already approved in the budget that was done in June. It's the mayor receives 1,000 per month, council members receive 400, planning commission chairperson receives 200, and planning commission members receive 100.
I have to say, at the last meeting, when we were talking about this, I either confused this with a different topic, but Councilman Sands set me straight. I thought we were taking 100 off of the city council and giving that 100 to planning commission. And I was under that impression until, 2 weeks ago? And so I thought that's what we were voting on.
Okay.
For some reason,
Not that
I-
it was 400 and, or an additional budget for planning commission. So
I was under the same impression. I thought that
that it was
for the
300.
sake of controlling the costs, that it was going to be.
That's what I thought during the
planning
meeting, and
commission
that's what I
was
thought we were
coming out of
voting
the
on.
City council.
And I thought that until I went back and watched the video.
Right.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
I remember
yeah.
Afton talking about how that would, the additional
Yeah.
budgetary expense was gonna
So
be.
either
X number of
and then
dollars
I have to
on that.
apologize, I either missed that or mistook it or something, but that's what I thought we were voting on.
Yeah, it was done so that it could be reviewed annually for the planning commission to see if they can have that expenditure or adjust this either way, so.
So just one more clarification. We have alternates for planning commission. They don't fall under this until
Attendance is
they're,
required for.
You'll see that in the, you'll
so
see
the
that in the
alternates
next
will
one.
get that if they're attending the
Yeah,
meeting.
they're attending in place of a
So,
commission.
so our next item is gonna be the ordinance moving some of the stuff out of the section about the planning commission. And it does say compensation is based, I mean, if they don't attend, if
Based
they're
on-
not attending, participate, they don't
yeah.
get it.
Now, I know in our, I don't know if this is the right time you want to discuss this or not, but since we're bringing it up, I know in our policies and procedures, I think it says that planning commission alternates shall attend the meetings. So even though they're not sitting in the position, if they show up at the meeting, should they be compensated?
Yeah, no, it's only if they're actually serving.
Okay, so even though we're requiring them to come,
And we actually don't require them to come unless they're gonna sit.
okay.
So.
Okay, any more questions? I'm looking for a motion then.
So this one's not to the compensation, this one's just for this verbiage here.
This is just to change the ordinance to move it into a resolution.
Make a motion to approve it, business item F2.
Let's second the motion, Mayor.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, business item F3.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes, you may.
This is the question for Heath. Did that motion need to include that it is in resolution, that it's in the ordinance format or it? We fine.
It's fun.
Okay.
I've got the, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And
I
then,
drafted it. I just need to make it two ordinances.
perfect. Okay, and then, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So item F3, discuss and possible action on ordinance 2023, modifying Tocqueville City Code, Chapter 10-3-1, Planning Commission compensation.
So this is the same thing. This is to add it to the ordinance so that we can compensate planning commission and outlines how they will do it, and then also outlines that it's based on attendance.
Mayor, you ready for a motion?
I am.
I move to approve business what are we on? Three?
F3.
F3, planning commission compensation.
Say again. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have to vote on that because it's money?
No, we're not
It's
setting
actually not.
nominee.
This
We're
one-
just
This one
doing,
we will.
yeah.
Okay.
Item F4, discuss and possible action on resolution 2023, a resolution establishing the compensation of Tocqueville City elected and appointed officers.
So So this is,
There
this
you go.
resolution outlines the compensation and payment for elected and appointed officers. This is what we were discussing, that the mayor, it sets that the mayor will be paid 1,000, council members 400 each, planning commission chairperson 200, planning commission member 100. And this is, again, part of the approved budget that was passed in June. So this is formalizing it in the resolution. And then this is what you'll see if these get adjusted, if the budget won't support it, and we have to reduce these. The ordinances that you just passed will stay in place, but this resolution will come to you amended.
I'm still under the impression that I think we should not double our budget for city council and give that money back to planning commission.
Okay.
Now would be the time to make that change in emotion.
So I'm just curious, when was the last time Toccoa City Council's got a raise? I mean, how long have they been getting paid $200?
12 years.
Yeah, 13 years probably.
Well, the mayor was the
Oh,
last one
ma-
to change.
Yeah, but the city council has been,
Not council.
yeah, it's been,
Mayor only.
Council.
yeah, I recall Mayor Chamberlain was getting $1,500 at one point.
Because he was,
Currently,
he,
after
he,
taxes-
he was,
trying to-
After the taxes are taken out, city council is receiving $184 per month.
So it's,
It might as well be zero.
yeah, exactly. So,
At the end
yeah,
of the day,
it's, we're definitely not here for the money.
Well, I'm
It
just
basically
wondering if
covers-
we could get tired of re-up next year.
If we paid him more money.
There's not enough.
So Joey likes to give money away, so that's Joey.
Well, Joey's not saying give the
No,
planning commission 200 instead
No,
of 100.
he's just saying pay city council 300 instead of
300.
400.
Take that allotted budget that we were gonna use and just, we'll have more in the budget if we did that.
Increase.
we'll have a surplus.
Yeah, it's $12,000 is the difference with councilman.
I mean,
You're along with twelve.
we certainly earn $400 if we were basically, employed and doing what we've been doing with the time and study and everything. I just feel a little guilty about doubling our pay. I don't know what that looks like, where we just jump from 200 to 400. I mean, yeah, we,
It's, and I'm not arguing against, it's like our water fee. Every time we do this, we wait 10, 12 years and we have to double it.
yeah,
We wait 10 years, 12, and sounds like it's been 12, 16, 17 years since it's ever been changed.
Mhm.
And I understand it's a lot of money, and the mayor, but, $1,000 still is nothing for what, I mean, just this week alone, I think I'm pushing 12 hours already this week. Easily during the daytime, not just,
right.
it's been a
I just
crazy
did
week.
12 hours today.
So,
here.
but your attorney fees.
No, I said Ty. No.
Ty's crazy. That's why we wish he was still here. So, anyways.
I don't think any of us are
At least
doing
when I
this for
talked
money.
about that, sounded like you'd done 12 hours already.
Like for me, I read this, it's like it's like you go do a job for somebody and it's worth $1,500 and then add your $50.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be zero and know that I donated it.
Yeah.
I'd rather do it just because it's the right thing to do. But I'm
Well, I'd rather.
Again,
I'd
I'm
rather
good with
spend
whatever you guys
$12,000 on a holiday event or something myself.
Maybe
Maybe something to give back to the city. If I was to make a motion, I'd make a motion to reduce ours back to 300.
Is that a
You
motion?
said back to 300, but you'd
Or
reduce
to
it
300.
300 instead of the 400.
leave planning commission at 200.
Same numbers.
Well,
100 for the one.
PC
and 200
chair,
for the chair.
planning commissioners.
How about the mayor?
Oh, that's a difference.
I'm not saying a word. You do whatever.
I'd say that's one of the cheaper mayors that we've had as time has gone on. I
Sure.
think that's been as much as 1,500, maybe even 2,000 at one point. Was it 15? Was it 1,500?
Darren, when you were being the mayor and city manager,
It was
yeah,
$1,500.
Is how much?
But it was $1,500,
Yeah.
but I was being the city manager and
Yeah.
the mayor, and how we did that. But that was pretty significantly more because we didn't have staff.
Yep.
So, my only concern would be, with our planning commission alternate members. So if we're requiring them, or if we would like the planning commission alternate members to be up to speed on what the planning commission is doing, And if they come, even though they're not sitting in that position, should they not be compensated? That's two of them. So if we're taking 100 away from us, part of that can go to the alternate members if the council would consider that.
Either that or if they're not if they're not recommending and just attending, maybe
Yeah.
$50.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
If that's
because they
something
do
wanna-
have to stay on top.
Sure, okay.
One point of clarification though is that when Darren was doing that, he wasn't actually doing that as the formal city manager.
Oh,
because
no, he
that
was not. No, it was not.
But I just want to make sure that doesn't make it into the meeting minutes, that was a formal paid position.
On YouTube, it's too
for-
late.
It's over. So, Joey, did you motion? Did you motion?
He said if he were to make a motion.
I'll
He
make a
never
motion
did make a
that
motion.
all the numbers stay the same except for city council drops to 300.
I second that motion.
Were you going to do anything
And-
for
and-
Let me,
and
make a
give-
modification.
modification to your?
And allow alternates to receive $50 if they show up for attendance.
Second.
You're good with the second? You're good with the alteration? Any further discussion on this item?
Will we need to make any more changes to the previous codes for alternates?
No.
Okay.
He could just put that in the resolution.
Okay.
That's what's nice about this.
That's why it's nice.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Okay, more discussion?
Roll call.
Roll call, start with Chuck.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, item F5, discuss the possible action on ordinance 2023 modifying Tocqueville City Code, Chapter 1-6-3, City Council meeting schedule.
So this is just modification that's needed to reference our annual meeting schedule. A resolution, the resolution contains meeting location, times, and dates for both city council and planning commission meetings. So if you just want to go through it, days.
And we're going to stay on the same schedule we have set now.
It seems like a lot because it's in blue, but it's an
Right.
amendment and restatement. We had situations where we were calling out one meeting a month and things like that. Now we're saying that we're having 2 business meetings a month. We did that in the ordinance, so it'll stay. And now the flexibility of being able to change it, you'll notice that we also have our resolution, which is the meeting schedule for this year. So that's how we do it. We have our ordinance talking generally, and then we have our resolution with the actual schedule of dates.
So just curiosity, it says regular meetings the city council shall conduct at least one. Is that just to give us the ability that if we wanted to cancel one back, we could? Okay, got it.
And every meeting is a business meeting then.
Yes.
That's what the new language says in blue and the other one. So you're adopting, well, 2's already, the resolution's already been adopted, so this one doesn't, but we're going back to the ordinance. This is just kind of a procedural cleanup of that section talking about town count or city council meetings.
All right, is that clear?
Is there a reason why we're requiring 48 hours of notice to do an electronic? So if you had a council member out of town, had something that had to go, what's?
We're required state code. That was a change that they made in the Open and Public Meetings Act when they allowed electronic meetings as a little bit additional notice requirement.
So there's an additional notice requirement to the public of 48 hours.
If we're going to do an electronic meeting, or if we're going to have a council member appear electronically, we have to post that 48 hours in advance instead of the normal 24 that we do.
Okay, and the same would hold true if we just had a cell phone and the councilman was listening, that would be considered
Any type of remote meetings,
All right.
especially if you're going to take input from that council member and have them voting.
This goes through all city councils and boards, all that stuff. That's good to know.
Okay.
We've had a few phone calls, and I'm pretty sure they haven't been noticing that in 48 hours.
Yeah.
That's good to know. All right. Okay, any other questions? Any other concerns?
I'll make a motion to approve business item F5.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. Any further discussion on this item?
A phone call vote, is that?
So that's an on emergency basis. You can do that. This requirement, we go ahead and then we ratify that vote at the next.
So
publicly scheduled meeting.
the ratification qualifies then, okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, item F6, discuss possible action on resolution 2023, modifying uniform fee schedule to modify the hydrant meter deposit, subdivision fees, and sound system rental.
So you've seen this fee schedule before, before you buy once a month. This is when we have to look at things to compensate for staff time, engineering review, legal, things like that. The hydrant meter, that needed to be right there if you look.
Yeah.
What's one of those cost us?
Yeah, I think the meter's a lot of money. How much is the meter now?
Yeah, what's 1980?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's an easy way to get a $1,250 meter. Just go to the city and get one and not bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. So we needed to amend that. The sound system, we needed to establish this on there. We've had residents ask to rent the city sound system, things like that with it. So we need to just put.
That's
address
pretty
it.
cheap. That looks good.
Yeah. And then the next one, if you just go down.
Afton?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, do we need a deposit for the sound system like you have for some of the other stuff?
We can if you want to do that. I mean, we think that with what the actual rental fee is, if something happened to it, we'd be able to.
$50 or $100?
That sound system, we have an older sound system, so we have our new sound system that we are not renting out.
Oh, okay.
This is an older sound
Gotcha.
system that If they just want to use it, it doesn't carry that far, it's, it's
Probably fine in the
very
hall
much-
right here.
Yeah. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's just a,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you want to get it for karaoke night, Todd, you can get it for $50.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah, it's not.
If you don't exceed 4 hours.
It's
Okay.
the original one that we were replacing because it doesn't carry that far.
Okay. Okay.
So the red line where it says city of needs to say the city of.
It just needs to say Tocqueville City.
Tocqueville
Right,
City.
So take the,
Yeah, by
take
Tocqueville
the,
City.
include that as a red line.
Just so the council members know, the official name of the city is Tocqueville City. If you look at our,
Just down the red line, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's good. We don't need to add those and A's and those and whatever. Okay, so we're down to,
Moving on to the.
plat
preliminary
review.
plat. Yeah, on here, we did not have staff time and engineering added to that, so that's what it comes out to. After wages and review.
Afton, I had one question about that. I know from the legal expense to it, there's more time in the final plat review than in the preliminary plat, but I know staff does a lot more
Exactly.
in the preliminary stages of it, so
Yep.
I didn't know if that was taken into consideration.
It was.
okay.
Are you suggesting that the legal review needs to be $1,000?
No, I just wanted to make sure that when they were evaluating the cost, I know that,
Multiple rounds.
yeah, I don't know that staff does a whole lot of review at final. It's more the engineer and the attorney doing the final red
And
lines on the
we
plat.
anticipate that as those changes go into effect in January. the
Yes.
state code of
Yep.
Preliminary and final,
Yep.
no longer going before council,
You're right.
that they will, then that will have to be amended probably. for
Okay.
final plat.
Well, and I think the
And
other,
also probably the preliminary as you do more legal review because it doesn't. go
Yeah.
before council.
Yeah,
and we still reserve the right that if something far exceeds $1,000 or $500,
We
we can
have
pass
that.
upon those fees.
we have
It's
that in the fee schedule
in like the second.
in the
paragraph
special
there.
notice.
So-
Okay.
Perfect. That's all the changes on this
Yeah, and
fee
we go
schedule.
through the legal, just so the council is aware, that would be, I mean, I think you're aware, but just so the public knows too, that when we do that, just to make sure the development is paying for development, we review the legal bills, we review the engineering, we code them to an activity, and we invoice whoever the developer is.
and if
to
you would
make sure that they are paid those additional fees.
If you would see my statements that come to the city, if I'm doing something like a plat review that I know that's going to get billed, I will bill it as a separate entry. I might do an hour and a half worth of work for the city during the day, but I only did a half hour in a plat review. I will do that as a separate entry instead of doing it as one, and I will put the name of the subdivision so that they know and can track, kind of get a better idea for how much it's costing for the legal review portion of it.
Perfect. All right, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any more questions on the uniform fee schedule? All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Yes, this is.
This is a roll call. We're not
Yes, it
spending
is.
money. We're just changing money.
Yeah.
But it's money, it's a fee.
Okay.
We're changing the fees.
Let's try on your end, Joey.
It's a charge.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion still carries.
Aye, aye, aye.
All right, item F7, discuss and ratification to approve the expenditures of $135,000 for the purchase of real property within Tocqueville city limits. A phone call was done, taken on August 7th. So this is a property we're purchasing. You guys all voted for it on the phone. We just need to ratify it.
Mayor, I missed the opportunity to vote on that, so just so you're aware.
Okay, you were probably at the lake at the time and couldn't get handed on the phone.
That could have been the case.
Okay.
You can vote now. For the ratification.
Aye.
Okay, so I need a motion.
Move to
Make a mo-
ratify.
Okay, make a motion.
Make a motion to approve business item F7.
Does the public get to know what the property is?
No.
What's the list?
Well,
We gotta close on it.
We've closed, correct?
Well, I haven't signed.
If we've closed, not until we close. That's one of those things that have, oh, yeah, that's a confidential
Yeah.
item under Open and Public Meetings Act. Until we've closed, and then it's
Yeah, then
disclosable,
we'll-
obviously.
Yeah, it's a really good buy.
deal.
It's something we need. So I'm just, yeah.
It's like 200 square feet, little tiny people. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the property hasn't closed.
Yeah.
The vote was taken to do the.
Unfortunately, we can't disclose that.
And we just, if we do, then somebody might come in and say, well, I'll give you 150,000 for it. And we're out something. Does that make sense? So there's things like that we can't discuss until we've bought.
It's under the exception of acquisition of real property, which is exempt.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. You motioned, who seconded? Did somebody get a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. It's a roll call vote. Chuck, we'll start on your side.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes. All right, we are on business item F8, discusses possible action on preliminary site plan for Sapp Brothers Travel Center submitted by Sapp Brothers Incorporated. There's a tax ID number. Current zoning is highway commercial. So this is our travel center we're going to get someday. Riker, let's hear all about it.
Okay, so this application has been submitted and deemed complete. It was before you had previously received approval, but due to some changes that they've made, significant changes that have been made on the site, it's back before you for review.
Yeah, this drawing is completely different. They moved everything around, changed stuff. So I'm glad we're making it come back.
So, Riker, on the, well, this isn't loaded.
There's,
but-
that looks like an old,
Can you
with the old drawing there. That looks like the,
Rotate it. That's what confused me too.
oh, okay. So that looks more like the old drawing than the new
So,
drawing.
Riker, they have that laid out, but then there's a substantial amount of property still going
There-
to the west.
Yep, there's a big
That's
chunk.
been graded on and messed around with. Trees have been stripped off.
What do we-
Is that the expansion area for them? What's the intention with that ground? Do you guys know yet?
Everything west and south.
Come ask the question again. I'm sorry.
So to the west of the travel center, the topography goes up as it carries up to Old Highway 91. What is, it's all been, the trees have been cut off of it, it's been tore up. Is it-
Rubbed, yeah.
Are they gonna do some restoration
We,
of that ground?
we do have the engineers here. If you'd like to ask that question, I don't know what, right now, they'll still own that property to the west. It's still all just one parcel, but maybe the city or the engineer knows their intention for that use on that property in the future.
And I guess part of my concern is if we're approving a development, are they going to do any restorations for erosion control or any of those type of items on the hill that's been scarified?
Under our commercial design standards, we will require that type of thing if there has been scarring, different things. If you look under our code, we do require that during the construction drawings and approval through the city engineer and all of the different utility agencies.
And we won't sign off on a certificate of occupancy until it's been done.
Do you have any questions for the engineer? Ty?
Okay.
You just,
I didn't want to get in the nuts and bolts of what's being
Right.
drawn. I'm just trying to figure out, like, that's a big piece of
It's-
property.
it
They
is.
took it- they took it
Yeah,
off.
and that's really not required at preliminary plat as far as saying what are you going to reclaim and different things like that. As code's going to be changing here in the next year, that will become more of a predominant. Construction drawings kind of come at that exact same time type of thing. So there's going to be a lot more information. Right now, we for our preliminary plat approval, we require quite extensive things, as you can see, that are on the plans right now. Yeah. So, and they've met they've met all of those requirements.
I would just bring it, and again, it has nothing to do with this, but as staff gets construction plans, I would be very concerned about the landscaping along the front of that. That's the entry to Tokerville. I know you're going to have an opportunity. I don't know if we'll get an opportunity to see those plans. So I'd be
No.
mindful of that, what the restoration looks and the erosion control on that hill that's been scarred already. They're showing that tire shop and maintenance in the back. It'd be anything we could do to help disguise that so that we don't have.
And it does
tires
talk about, it
stacked
talks
up.
about it screening and different things in our code. And I don't know if you want to speak to that or not. Just if you want to speak to the screening and the different things, the comments that Ty.
So my name is Jake Heward with Alpha Engineering, the civil engineer on the project. So in regards to that, the westerly portion there, to my knowledge, that's just going to be vacant for the moment. And I'm not aware if the just land disturbance that's occurred out there has not been under the direction of the owner. So I'm not sure who's been out there doing that, but and we'll work with the city through the construction review process is typical to make sure all that's addressed. On that north side where the semi shop is, that's actually going to be cut in about a dozen feet or so into the existing grade. So that'll help with the screening a little bit.
How tall, do you have any idea how tall that building will be?
Oh,
It'll be sunk 12, but will it be?
It'll stick up. I don't know the exact height.
Okay.
But
You said
You'd
it's
be able
going
to
to cut
drive.
12 feet, and then you're going to have a bank in between the road and that?
Can you go to the erosion control plan, Daisy?
sheets
It shows
down.
the grades. It keep coming down a few. I can't remember if it's sheet 6 or something like that.
And I don't mean to get in the weeds.
Right.
At some point, we don't get an opportunity to, like, I want to get my concerns out before it comes to staff and then it gets approved and we're all scratching our heads like, why don't we
Yeah,
say
why
something
didn't
about
we
that?
get
So-
this?
Aaron, is that gonna-
Keep coming down. Just keep coming down a little bit, a little more. Right there,
Right
right
there.
there. You can see the contours. Those were proposed. So you can see that there's there's 2-to-1 slope that they have designed there on the west side and the north side. As part of your motion, you can suggest design requirements such as landscaping and things.
Are those 2-foot increments or 1-foot increments?
those are 1 foot contours
And
there.
1 foot contour.
that landscaping will need to match our landscape code and the surrounding areas for those types of things. That's as per our code.
And then
Sunk down pretty good. That's
it's like 10
way
feet,
better-
11
way
feet,
better
just
than
off
I
those
anticipated, yeah.
contours. The other thing that I just in design, you work through that, the storm drain is all running out towards SR 17. The natural flow of that's going to be flowing down to our reservoir. That's a huge parking lot, lots of cigarette butts, lots of hydrocarbons. Anything we can do to clean that up before it goes down, because the north end of that reservoir in the future, which is within
200 yards.
of where this is going to be, is where all this water is going to go, and that's going to eventually, hopefully, turn into a city park. And anything, we got to clean up everything before it goes down.
I agree. Yeah.
Maybe
So-
we should do is
Well, he has some.
He's got
On this, again, I'm in the weeds.
Well,
I
yeah,
apologize.
you are.
Those are things that I was like concerned about.
But we will, as we come to construction drawing phase, we'll require, basically that it meets those stormwater quality as it leaves.
Full site plan, preliminary approval, they're looking at placement of buildings, parking stalls, canopies like in a truck stop like this, enclosures for waste and traffic flow, things like that. It doesn't get down into the weeds of like detention basins and some of the civil aspects of a site plan.
And mindful, it is preliminary plat approval, not final
Right.
plat approval, or not, or site.
There's going to be a lot of changes and modifications.
Sorry, I keep flipping
Yeah.
in site and plat.
Right.
This is a preliminary site.
Site plan. Yeah.
Not-
Okay. Chuck, your concerns?
I have a tough time living in a 2-dimensional world because I live in a 3-dimensional world most of the time, sometimes 4. But we had real nice presentations in here tonight from the hospital. Nice drone presentation on the bypass. And I've said this before. Here we have a nice facility going in here. We're just looking at the flat portions of it. It's going to be right at the entrance to our town. And I'm quite confident that Sapp Brothers doesn't put something like this in the presentation to the rest of their staff and so forth, unless it's a three-dimensional artist concept of what we're going to be looking at. What I really would like to see, what is this beast going to look like before we build it? We can look at all the drainage and all the little lines and all the rest, but it doesn't tell the public what's going to be sitting at the entrance to their town. And I would like to encourage, Sapp Brothers to give us an artist rendition of what's going to be sitting at that site.
Well, and I
it's a
think when
great
we-
project, but I would like
Yeah.
to see more. And I think
At the preliminary site, though, we're not required that. When we get to the final, they'll have elevations
Well-
for the buildings, they'll have all that stuff.
And one thing, if we're going to require that, we need to change our code to require that. We do not require that.
Don't we have
cannot-
some elevations, some.
Yeah. We're not talking about-
Elevation.
You're
Yeah.
talking about a 3D rendered flyover type of thing.
Elevations are fine. I know what it costs to do 3D renderings, and I know Chuck wants to see them all the time, but we're not on a Pentagon budget, and these guys are not on a Pentagon budget, so 3D drawings cost tons of money.
Engineers like it.
Oh, yeah, they love it. They love it. But so I don't ever see the city changing our ordinance saying we have to have a 3D rendering,
we have an artist conception.
Well, we'll get, we'll have elevations, we'll have all those drawings will come to the city before final approval. So
then, one other.
No, you're good.
Hopefully this isn't too much in the weeds, Darren. The access coming in, the first entrance into that, what's the traffic study say? Is that enough staging? It's not very far away from a brand new intersection that we're building, and are we making a mess?
No, there is actually in this plan set, you see they've labeled the distances on that, and they do meet what our traffic requirements are. Yep. And
Requirements don't differentiate between a semi or a car. It's this far as can be approached. So.
also, I believe your traffic study stated how far those intersection spacings needed to be.
There's deceleration and turn lanes plus the intersection spacing, and that's all
Yeah.
per that traffic effect study.
So as I look at that, you can see deceleration lanes that will pull you out of that. So they're going to have to actually widen what we have called the new SR or not Old Highway 91 for the deceleration lanes. So that's going to be pulling traffic out, triples, whatever, cars, different things. They have 2 of those on there. Also in the traffic study, it talked about that there needs to be that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be putting them in. It talks about the improvements that they have to do out on State Route 17, and also I believe it talks about off ramps from I-15, if I remember right.
That's down the road, yeah, but it's in there.
Yeah.
A question that I had was, in your traffic circulation, which isn't a point that is discussed in a preliminary site plan, do you guys anticipate or do you designate in your site plan that can semis exit out of the first entrance? So it'd be the easternmost entrance, or are you going to require it limited only out of the westernmost entrance?
Truck ingress and egress is only out of that western access, and we've got arrows and some curb and gutter in there to help facilitate.
You have 14 sheets and I couldn't see it real quickly, but I
And-
assumed it might be in there.
And what you're asking for there is really something we get into the weeds with in the construction
final,
drawing
yeah.
phases. There again, preliminary plat, we don't ask for a traffic study. We ask for
Circulation
a,
but we do ask for circulation pattern.
yeah, which they have
And
on
they've got
there.
arrows, yeah.
They've got that on there, so they've met that requirement. We've gone through the checklist, the ordinance, the unofficial checklist and the ordinance. They're there. And they've pretty much done everything. Like I say, I can't ask of something that's not required by code or ordinance.
Is there an artist rendition of this or not?
Yeah, there has been we don't prepare those by our office, but the architect has done so. But like Darren said, they're not provided under this
I
application,
just
so they
didn't know
weren't
if
provided.
as a courtessy if they wanted to.
Well, when we get further into
It's the architects, not the engineer that does it.
Yeah. And as we get further into the process, we will see that.
Well, and Mayor, let me just, for clarification's sakes, we don't see it again as council.
You won't see it. You won't see it for a
I
while.
think that's part of the problem is we're asking for things that we're actually never going to see after we approve the preliminary site plan. Right? That's all going to be handled by staff.
You'll see the final site plan, but next year, state legislature has taken all of that away from you. 100% from the preliminary site plan to the final site plan. That's your state legislation code that's just changed, and that's a mandate. That's not a recommendation.
Well, in spite of all the questions, we put an SID out there in 2004.
If we build it, they will come, and they
And
came.
It
finally.
took a long time, but
30
it's
years
coming
later.
along, so It's good to see some of that infrastructure getting put to use finally. It's been a long time.
There's a ton of stuff that we handle with inside. That's why you got such good staff, from engineers to attorneys to city managers. Not to pat my own self, but I like our design team that we have, or our review team, and our, everything that we have here.
Right.
So
Any other questions? I'm looking for a motion.
I move to approve the preliminary site plan for Sapp Brothers.
Second. I have a motion and a second.
Can we clarify that's the amended preliminary site?
Yeah,
Correct.
amended,
Yeah.
yes.
With staff comments.
Correct.
Your second's still good? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion is approved. Going to move on to item F9, discuss some possible action on reopening the engineering pool to accept statements of qualification for additional firms for construction engineering management.
So this is, Tuberville City is experiencing an increase in construction and development, and from time to time, construction engineering management services may be required. An example of this is that Stanley Consultants is construction engineering management for the Parkway, but they are not part of our engineering pool. And so that project kicked off before we had our engineering pool, and we put that in place later. So the request would be that we reopen that to just accept additional in case we want to put some of these others in our pool that can do construction engineering management. A good example of that would be where Lance Chermos is coming in. On I-91, we might find ourselves. Stanley is in UDOT's engineering pool.
So there could be a conflict.
Things that overlap. That's something that we want to reconsider and look at. So that would be what the discussion and possible action would be.
Is there a cap to the number that we should, like 5, 10? What is there?
No.
Doesn't matter?
Well, the bigger the pool, the more selection we have.
Yeah, I
So-
thought we had a cap of 5 when we were doing this.
No, we actually have 8 engineers.
Okay, so the purpose of the pool is to have a variety of resources that we can throw a job out to. So if any of those that we have aren't necessarily the best, and another one wants to come in, then that's what you're asking here. It's just
Right, well, and
to let
a
someone
good
come in.
example of this would be, well, this one is specific to construction engineering management, but a good example of how the engineering pool works is when we started that, if you remember, it was 2 years ago, but if you remember when we started that, we went through and we listed all of the engineering that the city could probably possibly run into, from traffic to water to surveys
Grants.
and reviewing and all of those things. And when we did that, we selected different firms. So a good example of that would be that Rosenberg Associates is our certified floodplain managers for the city. Bowen Collins specializes in, water and things like that too. And so, for example, Jared Bates is going to review some work that's going to be done by Bowen Collins. And so they can overlap. So we have an engineer that can do the work and somebody that can review that work. And we can make sure that we're covered. An area that we're noticing is lacking in our construction engineering management is in our pool is exactly that, construction engineering management. To make sure that as these projects are done, invoices come in, they can say, yep, the work that was done is actually done. So it would be, you don't have to accept any of these, but we would like to get some additional statements of qualification for that specific service.
There's no cost to the city really for that.
No, they
Yeah,
just,
aside-
it's basically.
unless we hire
submitting a
them, yeah.
resume, and then, you don't have to give them a job, or you have to give them a job. They're gonna be in the pool, but it gives you the option to choose that service.
Thank you.
So that's just kind of the, I think we probably have 2 or 3.
I'll make a motion to proceed with reopening the engineering pool.
Second.
Do we want to state that this is for
Construction engineering
construction
management,
engineering
CEs?
management?
I think just
Or
give
I don't know.
it.
just open it up for whoever wants?
There's no reason to handcuff yourself.
Okay. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're on to item F10, discuss the possible action on increasing the budget for Fund 41, the Tocqueville Parkway project by $14,725,500 to total at $39,109,958.20.
Mayor, this is procedural. This is additional funding was received from the Utah State Legislature for the Tocqueville Parkway project. The original project budget was approved by council at roughly $23.8 million. And so just actions needed to increase the budget for Fund 41. That was done by resolution. So we just need to increase the budget to match the actual funds received for the project.
Any questions on this?
That's just,
It's only a $14 million up. Do we have to roll call vote on this one?
It's a budget item, not a.
That's right, it's not a spending.
It's just a budget, so.
I'm just
Yeah.
giving Keith a hard time. It's a lot of
I
money.
would move that we go ahead and.
Do it.
Approve item F10, increasing the budget Fund 41 for the Parkway project to $39,109,950.
39 million.
30
Good
what?
deal.
$39,109,958.20.
Did I say thousand?
You did.
Instead of million?
You did.
Sorry.
Just a couple decibels off.
Yeah.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Joey, we'll start on your end.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries. Item F11, discuss this possible action on a change order to the landmark testing agreement for the Tocqueville Parkway project, Phase A and B, not to exceed $150,000.
So Mayor, this started with, we had initially contracted with Landmark to do the first phase, Phase A, and they had an estimated time frame of roughly a year. We've obviously ran past that, so there's some change order time to clean up the extra time that's been used on the project. And then we had not received a bid from them to do Phase B. So this includes both of those together for $150,000 in testing to finish up the project.
Okay?
Seems like a good deal.
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, to me, that sounds pretty good.
Yes, same.
Yeah, same
fund.
exactly. It comes out of Fund 41.
So Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve business item F11 to award the contract, or to approve the change order for landmark testing not to exceed $150,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Chuck, we'll start on your end.
Yay.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries. Item F12, discussing possible action for additional paving in Anderson Junction in the amount of $25,000. Ty, would you like to talk about this
So
one real
Mayor,
quick?
this is another item. The paving as it stands right now is starting roughly at, I get the name wrong all the time, 7 Cs. Is that right? Starts at 7 Cs and heads to the north for the pavement. We have an opportunity to pave from there down to the interchange at Anderson Junction. And that's what this is for, is an extra expenditure. That money will be paid directly to Sunrock for paving that section.
Okay, and this is in our capital facilities.
It is, yeah.
plan.
We've identified it. It's been in the capital facilities plan. It's probably within the 5-year plan on it
paid out of
too.
impact fees.
So we have the funds to do it. Afton had
Identified
reviewed it.
years. It's in the 1 to 5 year capital. facilities
Perfect,
plan.
perfect.
Is
So
there anyone else?
are they extending the scope of work?
Yeah, so we've asked them to go further down the road.
So we've asked them to extend the scope of work just for paving. What about storm drain, like?
It's just
All
to
that
pave over what we have in
just
existing.
pavement.
They're gonna do an overlay like what we did on old Highway 91, where they
So,
put a 1
I
inch.
guess
They're
my
gonna
question
do
is,
that.
so like if we're asking them to extend, are they doing anything prior to that extension? Are they just paving over the top of?
They're gonna pave over the top, but they'll clean up the shoulders. It's 120 or 1,200 feet long by
I mean,
20 feet wide.
Prior to the extension, are they doing new road base? Are they doing anything?
No, right on top of it.
Everything's gonna be on top of it?
Yep. Other than the shoulders, because we don't even have a 20-foot lane out there. We probably have 12 to 15.
Maybe.
So they'll be building the shoulders
Yeah,
and constructing the shoulders and then paving over all that together.
And so is the first part engineered?
Huh?
Is the first portion of what we're seeing in paving, and is it engineered? This is what I'm asking is, do we need to engineer this? Do we need to have, like, just like I said, do we need to have a management company go look at it?
Nope.
Make sure we're actually getting the thickness of it. pavement? that
We can
they're
have,
supposed to, or-
Sunrock can provide that for us as well during the paving process. We can have Landmark go out and test it. If that's what you're asking, we can have Landmark test it.
Public Works inspection on it
Yep.
to make sure that it's fixed.
We can have them do it in-house.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've had a concern with that before, Joey.
Well, what I'm really getting to is, as a city, we usually just don't jump.
Yeah.
Without doing the precautions and making sure that we're worried about the drainage and getting everything ready and making sure everything is.
The intention was, we've done the water line and the sewer line have been done, or the water line's been done out there with new services. We did those in the SID. Those services have been stubbed out. And then where this ties on is where the district's leaving. So instead of just paving from there out north, we're going to tie it and bring it all the way down through Anderson Junction to make all of it complete. So
So, yeah, the water district is paving already up there, and we're just meeting them and having.
south, or
Well, no, to the.
To the west.
Joey,
Southwest.
do you have some concerns? Things like drainage should be addressed or
Well, I just
already?
don't-
built
I just
if
don't
we're
want to
paving
spend
over top an existing
$25,000 to have
road?
a road fall apart.
I'll
Right.
drive you out there and show it.
Yeah. The road is in, the asphalt that's already there is already in, and then we're just going to overlay that and widen it out a little bit. So that makes sense.
The only other question, and the only question I have is all this stuff previously, all the 11 items that we went through, we've had all that stuff in the packet. There's no documentation on it.
This is brand new. So, yeah.
So I mean, like I said, we had documentation for all 11 items and we got no documentation for this at all.
So Todd, just so this came up really quick and we have the opportunity to start asphalting. So I actually asked Afton to put this on yesterday because this is kind of a,
And they would be paving this Friday while they're here. That's part of the
Yeah.
major cost savings.
yep. That's why it's on. That's why there's no, and I appreciate you
understand,
asking.
but
Yep.
yeah.
I was under the impression that someone else was going to help with the cost in excess of $25,000.
We're halving it.
We're halving it.
Okay. I am ready for a motion.
I'd move to approve the Anderson Junction pavement for not to exceed the amount of $25,000.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. Chuck?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we got 4-1. Motion approved. All right, we're going to calendar events. We have our Tocqueville City Neighborhood Market is this Saturday, 9 a.m. Am I reading that right? Yep, 9 a.m. here at the Town Hall. Everybody come out and support those people that come. It's neat. Hopefully there'll be some vegetables and maybe harvest. It's almost harvest time, so we'll hopefully have some
Cinnamon rolls and
vegetables.
fruit.
Cinnamon rolls and fruit. Cinnamon rolls are the best part. All right.
I have an item.
You have an item. Go ahead, Chuck.
Now, it's kind of it's a calendar item. It's a form of a public service announcement. As some of you may know, I'm chairman of the board of Utah Military Academy. We have 3 campuses, one in Ogden, one in Lehigh. We have over 1,100 cadets. We just opened up our 3rd campus down here at St. George Academy. We have lots of room for people. We're going to be providing bus service to all the students and cadets who sign up. So feel free to look us up on our website and to sign up and send your kids. I just sent 2 of mine.
Is that a charter-based school?
It's a state charter school.
State
yes.
charter school, okay.
Thanks, Chuck. All right.
Hey, I got one if
Yes,
we can.
absolutely.
We had a city logo discussion back in June and we tabled it.
We did.
Can we add that
Get
to the
back.
next?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we actually have that. We've been doing a cost comparison. Sarah's been working on that. We have a PowerPoint that we've been working on. So like 8 slides on it to show all the
What an
additions
artist
that we went
rendition.
through, getting to that one from start to finish. And then it has cost comparisons of printing the old one versus printing the new one. It has cost to embroider versus printing. So we've been working on that. Sarah actually just got back. She'd been off for the summer and she just got back. So it's on for the next council agenda in September.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Yep, thank you.
All right. We need to move into a closed session, so I'd ask the public to leave. So
We need a
We need a motion.
yes, we
need to state
do.
the
We
reasons
need a
why.
motion. Who wants to read it?
To move into a closed session to discuss the character, was there any character on there? Oh, yeah. Character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual. Strategy session to discuss collective bargaining. Strategy session to discuss pending or reasonable imminent litigation. And/or a strategy session to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease of real property, including any form of water rights or water share.
Perfect.
Second motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, thank you for coming.
Thank
Love
you.
seeing you guys.